And hello, everybody. That's the fancy new intro. Jaden, what did you think?
I loved it. That the little ding at the end really put the cherry on the cake. It was fantastic.
I hope that got on either to the live broadcast or later as you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. So we're up in the game. If you check out my channel on YouTube here in the next couple of weeks, there's gonna be a lot of content coming there. So anyway, that is YouTube. And we're live on all these platforms today. So we're going to get to the stats right away. And Jaden, we're going to talk about a lot of things that you can do with your family coming up over the next week for Halloween. So fun times already that time of year as the weather is changing today, right?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, it's finally it's feeling like maybe winter is actually coming this year, right?
Finally, I was like, I'll take a delay any day. All right, so here's our weekly stats. So we had 243 new detached listings and 255 sales in this past week for 104% of sale to new listing ratio. So because I was not here last week, I was at a conference in Vegas for eXp Realty, which was amazing. I was not able to quite get the right stats here because I emailed our Calgary Real Estate Board stats department, and they gave me a 332 new listing and 233 sales, which could be the case. I will trust them. Actually, our days on market are 42 now compared to last year. I think it was 44. Total detached listings is 1757 and detached, and then 3,532 total active listings. So as you can see, we have holes there. I'm just I'll update that next week, but I would think it would be fair to assume if we had 1826, would be 3 weeks ago, that it kind of went down slightly. Now we're at 1757, and then similarly on the total active listing side. So when we look at a year ago, now I'm going to just talk over this a little bit as these stats are on the screen. So there's been multiple stories over the past couple of weeks. If you get my email newsletter, there was a few links in there about how Calgary's market is not going to see the decreases that we've seen as an example in Toronto and Vancouver. We talked about that many times on this show. And basically what they're saying is they're concurring with that. We had, I believe, 10,000 people move to the Calgary area in Q2 of this year is the stat that I had heard, which would make sense because my property manager that I use is very much of that opinion as well. At the beginning of September, she had a day where she was trying to find places for tons of people, 100 text messages, 35 emails. They all needed a place for $1,500, 2-bedroom, 2-bath, which kind of doesn't really exist in Calgary anymore. So when we look at the year-over-year comparison here, yeah, we're still down in sales. New listings, we're slightly up over last year, same week. Active listings, again, still down 21%. And then our days on market, you can see there at 42 versus last year of 44. So, Jaden, you have some updated interest rates to tell us about.
Well, and this is why, this is why some of those numbers are down from last year, right? It's absolutely the Bank of Canada pushing this kind of growth in interest rates. So, and some of these, again, that 4.79 on a 5-year fixed high ratio. That's Connect First Credit Union. They have a great product. They're leading the way also in the high ratio variable. And they have an appetite for that high ratio mortgage right now. Most people, most places are at 4.55 on the variable, and they're closer to 5 on the fixed high ratio. So, that just something to keep in mind. That this is I always say this is an Alberta-centric view of things. But this one in particular is one of our Southern Alberta credit unions. So you're not getting that up in Fort McMurray and things like that. This is a very localized product, right? So most people going into 5-year fixed right now are looking at closer to 5%. So, we talk about it every week. People are still asking me, where are interest rates going? I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I feel like they're close to capped out, but I've felt that before. All I know is that in the last 30 years, every time they spike up quickly like this, they come back down quickly on the other end because the government's pushing us into a recession, right? So,
Right.
they're not attractive. This is not a great time to be locking into a 5-year fixed interest rate. But there's still great houses out there, and if the right house is out there for you, we can put a plan in place to make sure that the affordability is there for you.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that a little bit because I've been seeing this a lot on social media, and I do like it. It's marry the house, date the rate. So, if you've seen that on social media, what it means is you'll fall in love with the house. It's your house you're going to be in for 5, 7, 10, a million years. The rate isn't forever. So there's still a way to do this. If it fits into your budget, right? And then you can, when you sign the 2-year, things like that. So let's talk a little bit about that, Jaden. What if you were a home purchaser right now? What would you be doing?
Absolutely variable. And there's a couple of different ways we can go about it. So for instance, Connect First, again, if we come back to them, they're a true variable with a static payment. So if we went in and we said, okay, I love this house. Okay, I can afford that payment. Yes, that makes sense that I can afford that payment. Let's put you in that with them or TD. Either of them have a static payment. And so what your payment is going to be, right?
Yeah.
And so, you buy that place and you have your static payment. And then as interest rates go up, doesn't really matter. You're just paying a little bit less to principal, a little bit more to interest. And then as they come down, you're comfortable with that payment, but now you're really putting jet fuel on the payment on your mortgage, right? You're really hitting that principal harder. So absolutely, if you're worried about payment variability, a variable doesn't have to be variable. It can be fixed.
Yeah, super cool. And I think I've mentioned this before, but the truck I own currently is through Scotiabank. The loan is, and it's actually a loan where it never goes higher than whatever the interest rate is. But if the numbers come down, so which would be similar to what Jaden's saying there, then I'm putting more money on the principal as opposed to the interest, which I love. So great ideas there. Now to the fun stuff, Jaden. Here we go. Halloween in Calgary. We're going to start doing this a little bit more, just things to do here in Calgary and area. So Jaden and I and our group, our business networking group, went to this last year, Pumpkins After Dark. Jaden, I think you guys loved it, right?
Phenomenal. So I was there. We were there as a group of adults, but I brought my kids as well. And my kid and my very, very pregnant wife at that time.
Yes.
And we loved it. My 3-year-old loved it. Just a fantastic time. It was a beautiful day, great walking tour with great friends. We loved it.
Yeah, it was really fun. Then we've got Granary Road. If you don't know where Granary Road is, I'm in Southwest Calgary here in Woodbine. It's out, I call it still Highway 22X. I'm an old school Calgarian. But Stony Trail west and then south of there. So if you're kind of in this neck of the woods. And then, of course, the zoo always has tons of different activities. There's their live murder mystery game. That one already passed. My apologies. But we have the true crime walking tours at Fort Calgary. Actually, this seems super cool. Learn about the murder, crime, and execution that occurred in Calgary's early days at this walking tour for Calgary. So if you like that kind of stuff, I think that would be amazing. There's the mystery at the museum. So that's the annual mystery game at the Military Museum. So a lot of this kind of theme stuff, which I think is really fun. Heritage Park's Ghouls Night Out. That is, as I understand it, I don't have young kids anymore, but that is an absolute 5-star event. So that's happening in Heritage Park. And then, of course, at the zoo, if you want to bring your kids there to do some early trick-or-treating. And that's also on the 28th and 29th and 30th. So it'd be the weekend prior to Halloween, which is on Monday, I believe. So some great events there for you to dig into as our weather gets cooler and we start feeling like it's fall. So so there we go. So there's your updated stats for the week. We'll have the full picture next week when I get a little bit more information from Calgary Real Estate Board. And the Flames are 3-0.
Yes. I was waiting for you to say that. What a start.
Yeah, exactly. And we play Buffalo tonight, so that'll be fun. So everyone enjoy your day, enjoy your weekend as you're doing your fall cleanup. Next week, we'll talk a little bit about some winterization tips for your home, things you should be doing, once we start to get below zero and things like that. We'll do that all next week. So have a good one, everybody.
Bye, guys.